Hi, Effie here. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card using our Peony Garden background stamp and with some color bursts. First, I'm going to ink up our Peony Garden background stamp with some Versamark ink. It's just a clear sticky ink that embossing powder is going to stick to. And then I'm going to lay a watercolor panel right over the inked up background stamp. Then I'm going to carefully peel away the watercolor panel and then spoon some gold glitter embossing powder all over the panel, making sure that I have the entire panel covered. Then I'm just going to take my paintbrush and just brush away the stray embossing powders that I don't want on my panel. Then I'm going to take my heat gun and just zap the entire panel to melt all of the embossing powder. The size of the card panel is a little larger than a 5x5 card panel, and I will be die cutting this into a 5x5 card panel with some dies. It's a little larger than my normal A2 size go-to card, but I am liking the size of 5x5 cards, especially with our background stamps. Now I'm just going to prep my watercolor panel with some water because I am going to be using some color bursts to do some watercoloring for these peonies. I'm taking a Pentel aqua brush and it already has water in the chamber, and I don't know if you see me squeezing the chamber to release the water, and I'm going to wet the peony first, and then after the entire surface of the peony is wet, I'm going to take some red color burst powders and I'm going to spritz them on and just take the paintbrush and kind of move it around and color in most of the peony. Then I'm going to take some yellow color burst and just spritz it around the middle and maybe a little bit on the edges. And I'm going to blend the yellow and the red together as I finish coloring the rest of the peonies, and I may even go back and spritz some orange color burst in there, but you really don't need to because yellow and red do make orange. So I go for the extremes, the totally red and the totally yellow, and wherever the two meet will create a really nice pretty orange hue. Now I'm going to color in the other peony with some purple color bursts, and I'm going to go directly to the peony with the color instead of wetting the paper first. I'm leaving some of the purple peony a little bit light because I'm going to take some more of the red color burst and just blend the entire purple peony to create a really beautiful berry color. If I had totally saturated the peony with purple, you wouldn't have gotten such a nice berry color. It would have been mostly purple. Now I'm going to start watercoloring in the leaves. I use terre verte and yellow ochre. I'm going in first with the green and then I'm blending the yellow ochre in after. And this creates a very earthy green, but it's a super, super rich color, and I really like the combination of the two. And I'm really just watercoloring with my color burst for this card. I create variations of this card using our different background stamps, like our Rose Garden background stamp and our Morning Glory Garden background stamps. And I will show photos at the end of the video of the different cards that I did make. After I finish painting the leaves, I'm just going to take some more yellow and red color bursts and I'm going to paint in the white outlines of the gold heat embossed peonies because I want to add a little bit of color to these portions of the card because I don't want to leave the stark white outlines which weren't covered by the embossing powder. Next, I'm going to take a number 36 light blue zig marker to create a light blue aura or glow around the peonies and the foliage. So for the outline, I go direct from marker to the paper. I create an outline with the light blue zig marker, and then I take my aqua brush and I dilute that blue aura or glow with some water. If I end up with too much water on my paper, I'll just take a paper towel to dab away the excess water. And if it ends up that the blue is too diluted and you can't really see that glow, I'll just put some more of the color down. Once I finish painting the glow, I'm going to set my panel aside to dry. After it has completely dried, I'm going to take the first and third largest dies from our double stitched square dies, and I'm just going to die cut our panel. I'm gonna adhere down the dies with some washi tape, and I'm going to start with the largest die first to create a 5x5 panel. And then I'm going to take the third largest die and center it within the panel and run that through my die cut machine. This is going to create a really pretty outer border, and this is going to serve as the window for our shaker. So first I'm going to take a top folding 5x5 card base, and then I'm going to adhere that middle panel right onto the card base using the border as a guide. Next I'm going to create my shaker window, so I'm going to put down some adhesive behind that border, and then I'm going to lay down a piece of acetate film right over that adhesive, burnishing all four sides with a bone folder to make sure that the acetate doesn't lift. Then I'm going to take some dimensional foam adhesive and put it on all four sides, and this is going to act as a barrier that's going to keep all of that shaker goodness inside. Next, I'm going to take the congratulations sentiment from our Hey Foxy set, and I'm going to heat emboss it in gold, and this is going to be our sentiment for a shaker today. Next, I'm going to trim the sentiment panel and pop it over our card with some dimensional foam tape. Once the sentiment has been adhered onto our card base, we're going to start adding in all of our shaker bits. First, we're going to add some 10mm Call Me Maybe red sequins, and then some 6mm light citrine sequins, and then some 4mm creme brulee sequins. These are sequins that we actually introduced last week in our lineup. Next, I'm going to add some warm gold mini Flora sequins. These are absolutely adorable. And after this, I'm going to add some warm gold regular Flora sequins. I like to pack my shakers with different kinds of sequins, so that's why I'm using a mix of the Flora and my regular sequins. Before you close your shaker window, you want to make sure that none of your small shaker bits get stuck under any of the foam adhesive, because then your shaker window won't adhere properly onto your card base. So after I'm sure that the foam adhesive is firmly adhered onto my card base, I am finally done with this card. And as promised, here's a closer look at our Morning Glory and Rose Garden stamps, or rather cards that I made using our other background stamps. So I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Thank you all for stopping by, and I will see you next time.